Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today. I just wanted to bring you guys the new interview with Nancy Grace, where Shanquella Robinson's sister also joins the panel, Quilla Long, as they go over more expert information and more people discuss what's going on right now currently with the case. Also want to shout out truth teller Dani again. She does a lot of updates about the Cabo 6 and she gets this information. So I will link her page at the bottom in the description if you want to check her out for more Shanquella Robinson updates. So without further ado, here we go. We'll jump right into the video. Thank you again for watching.
She's beautiful. She's smart. She is finishing up her business degree at school. She has a loving family. So how does this beautiful girl, she's 25, Shanquella, end up dead at a luxury resort in Mexico? Okay, try to put the words "in Mexico" out of your head, because the crime that's happening right now is not her murder in Mexico. It's happening right here, I believe, in North Carolina, where the perps are hiding out. That's what's wrong today. We here in the U.S. are doing nothing to get justice in the murder of this 25-year-old beauty. And when I say beauty, I mean beauty on the inside and the out. You know how hard that is to find somebody who's really gorgeous on the outside, and on the inside, they're just as gorgeous? Okay? Why is the mother, Shanquella's mother, why does she have to send her other daughter to be with us today? Because she is so upset she can barely speak. Why are we dropping the ball? Why don't we just go up to Lady Justice and rip away her shield and take her sword and put it in the Dixie dumpster? We are not seeking justice for this girl. And it will be a day that hell freezes over that I stop seeking justice for Shanquella Robinson. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation and Sirius XM 111. You know how many times I have said to a jury, let me go to you, Kathleen Murphy with me, high-profile lawyer, joining me out of North Carolina at ncdomesticlaw.com. How many times have I said to a jury, Kathleen, I'm bringing you all this evidence. What do you want? A video? Well, in this case, we have a video, because not only did her girlfriends that she went away to this Lux vacation just down a hop, skip, and jump down the road from where Jennifer Aniston hangs out in Cabo all the time. Right down from that.
I'm going to trial today, and I have a video.
Yeah, this girl is being murdered in her luxury suite bedroom, being beaten dead by one of her friend girls, and another person is videoing it. She is dead, and there's a video, Kathleen.
I cried when I saw that video. I posted on my personal Facebook page. But Nancy, my question is, did these folks plan this crime that occurred in Mexico in the United States? And if so, why are they not arrested right now for planning that crime, even though it occurred in the United States?
Okay, as I often say, Kathleen Murphy, I don't know if they taught you this in law school. I learned it in the courtroom. Screw them and the horse they rode in on. All right? I don't care if they planned it here, planned it in the hall, planned it in the doorway as they walked in her bedroom. She is dead because of a break to her spine. And you see in the video them waking. She doesn't have on any clothes. She sleeps without any clothes on. She's getting out of bed, and they start beating her and hitting her in the head. And to you, Dr. Tim Gallagher, medical examiner, state of Georgia at pathcaremed.com, Dr. Gallagher, a medical examiner, has told me, in fact, I think it was you, that those blows to the head you see on the video, they think it's funny. They're videoing killing the girl. that in one of those videos, part of it, you see her head go down like to the right with such force, she never gets up off the floor, off sitting on the carpet again. She dies right there. Did you see the beating in the video, Dr. Gallagher?
Dr. Gallagher, who's about to speak, really listen and pay attention to what he says about his synopsis of what happened to Shanquella.
I did, and at that point it looked like her spine was broken or her neck was broken. So it appeared as though the cervical vertebral column was dislocated from the skull itself. So in that, we call that an internal decapitation, but it was a violent blow and it was a violent outcome, and it was just absolutely sad and no reason for it. That brought about her instantaneous demise.
Okay, right there. There's another cover-up because according to police, she died 3 hours later. That did not happen. If you look at the actual death certificate, which I have right here in front of me, she died after just 15 minutes max. I don't know why the cops are saying 3 hours later. But you know what? I need to catch a lot of people up. I want to tell you with me a very special guest today. Quilla, thank you for being with us. This is Shanquella's sister. What is your sister's nickname? I know you did not call her Shanquella all the time.
I called her Gotti.
Say what?
My nickname to her was Gotti. Godget. Gotti.
I kind of hate that you're hearing everything we're talking about, like cause of death and the internal decapitation, which means when your head is severed from the rest of your spine, but the skin is still in place. So inside in your spine, you've been decapitated, but your head is still sitting on your body. Everybody, I want you to hear our friends at ABC Listen.
Even though none of this is new to us, the pain that Shanquella must have went through is just heartbreaking to even think about. It is so sad and horrible, and it's justice for Shanquella Robinson all day, every day, until we get justice. This is horrible.
That Friday evening, she seemed very excited about the trip, and she said she was getting ready to eat some tacos. They had a chef there, and I said, "Okay, love you. I will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy yourself." And I never spoke with my child again.
Not even 24 hours after her daughter landed in paradise, Salamandra says she got a worrying call from one of the friends who told her Shanquella wasn't feeling well.
And I said, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And he said, "Alcohol poisoning." I didn't know what alcohol poisoning was, But he said, "The doctor is on the way." And I said, "Well, how you know alcohol poisoning if the doctor haven't arrived yet?"
You're hearing right there who I now consider to be a friend. This is Shanquella's mom speaking to us. That's Salamandra Robinson talking. Dr. Tim Gallagher with me, high-profile medical examiner out of Florida. You can find him at pathcaremed.com. And aside all of his education, catch this, he created the International Forensic Medicine Death Investigation Conference. He lives and breathes cause of death. So I guess you can see the vast dichotomy between what the medical examiner says. She died 15 minutes after, essentially, as you described, an internal decapitation, and all the friends telling the mom on the phone it was alcohol poisoning, as if it was Shanquella's fault that she is dead. She drank too much, she's dead. Did they really think we were going to believe that?
Well, Nancy, I guess in desperation, they would try any excuses better than none. But I don't really understand how they thought they would get away with it and without an autopsy being performed. This is definitely magical thinking on their part, and she exhibited no signs of alcohol intoxication during the video.
None at all.
Right.
That's a really good point. Mm-hmm. Dr. Tim Gallagher, and guys, I don't know if our station could play the video while we're talking, but there were several times in the video I had to just stop watching it because the video is so violent. So I want to find out, to you, Quilla Long, this is Shanquella's sister, who are these women in the video? And there's a guy there too, right? Supposedly her best friend her friend boy? I mean, a guy is not a boyfriend, but it's her friend?
We don't know the females. We just know him personally. The other set of people are actually people who she went to college with.
Okay, guys, I went to college with. All right. Joe Bruno is about to join me from WSOC TV, and he is joining me, I hope, with some kind of an update on why these friends have not landed their rear ends behind bars. Take a listen to our friends at ABC.
Salamandra again says she confronted one of the friends who lived nearby.
They say Shanquella didn't die from no alcohol poisoning. They say she had been beating her neck. He broke out in a sweat, and he came out of his shirt. He was sweating so bad, it's like it was eating him up.
But soon, another punch in the gut. Graphic cell phone footage leaked online appearing to show Shanquella naked, physically assaulted by another woman, while others appeared to watch on, even encourage it.
Look, can you at least fight back?
All six of them had an opportunity to stop that situation. Neither one of them didn't do nothing about it. Who give them the right to take a life?
You're hearing the mom and dad speaking to our friends at ABC. Joe Bruno joining me right now, reporter WSOC TV. Joe, thank you for being with us.
Now, Joe is the man that works for the news who's been going door to door in North Carolina trying to find the Cabo Six.
Who are these women? They're on video. It would be a simple matter of seeing who registered at the hotel. I mean, Irv Brandt joining me, guys, former U.S. Marshal Service, International Investigation, also a DOJ, also author of Solo Shot, Curse of the Blue Stone, hits Amazon January, author of Flying Solo, Top of the World. Irv, when you check into a hotel in another country, including Mexico, you have to show your passport and all your ID. They don't let you just walk in and run to your room and raid the minibar. So this has got to be on record, right?
That's correct, Nancy. I'm confident the Mexican authorities have those people's passport information and also identified them and know their location in the United States. It's now a matter of going through the extradition process to bring them back to Mexico.
How the heck did they leave the country to start with? Irv Brandt, the medical examiner, says she did not die of alcohol poisoning. She died of basically internal decapitation. Her head was disconnected from her body, and then they hop on a plane and take off?
Yes, it's actually that simple. They obviously left while the investigation was ongoing. But now that it has been ruled a homicide and not an accidental death or death by alcohol poisoning, they can start the process to bring those people back to the country of Mexico.
I don't know why they let them leave to start with. That said, now we've got to get them back. Joe Bruno joining me, WSOC TV. Joe, what's happening and why?
Nancy, these friends who were on the trip with Shanquella, most have since deactivated their social media accounts. Many have changed their phone numbers, and I have been to the homes of 5 of the 6 of them, addresses associated with these people on the trip, and they are no longer there.
You mean they no longer live there, or they're hiding out?
They are either not answering, or neighbors have not seen them in weeks.
Okay, you know what? Dr. Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst, joining me out of LA at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, there's nothing that screams, I did it, more than deactivating all your social and changing your cell number.
And just disappearing. Nancy, can you imagine going on a trip out of the country with a friend? That friend is sick or dies, and you flee? I mean, that speaks volumes. Even if there was no video, you have so-called friends who leave somebody in an ambulance. I mean, just picture that for a second. I mean, that is so profound. Then they go back to their mommy's homes, then they deactivate everything. No wonder the one friend was sweating profusely when he came to Shanquella's family to confess what had happened. He wasn't sweating because he was so anxious about what happened to her. He knows he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, Nancy. And, you know, again, even if there was no video, you know, these friends were plotting this. This does not happen like in a blink of an eye, in the spur of the moment. These friends were probably deriding Shanquella, saying horrible things about her, taking unflattering photographs, maybe not consciously planning to kill her, but at some sort of pre-conscious level, the attack was being planned. And I think that's what's so, horrible about this is she was sort of like the lamb to the slaughter. She had no idea. She called her mom and said she was about to eat tacos. She was having the happiest moments with new friends. I mean, if you ever hung out with new friends, it's so exciting to be with them and to get to know new people. And these new people were plotting against her all the while.
What do we know about arrest warrants coming out of Mexico? Take a listen to our cut 43. This is Megan Bragg, WCNC.
This is the article that has been circulating on social media. It claims that there has been an arrest in the Shanquella Robinson case, but we wanted to walk you through the article because there are some red flags here. When someone reports and shares claims that are not verified, this is how misinformation spreads. First, the headline suggests DeHaan Jackson.
They do mean Dejanay Jackson.
Was arrested in the United States. As of now, Mexican authorities have not publicly even named a suspect. They have issued arrest warrants, but haven't said who the warrants are for.
Okay, straight back to Joe Bruno joining us from WSOC. I heard the rumors, and my cell phone blew up, that there had been an arrest in Shanquella Robinson's homicide. Then quickly I learned that wasn't true. What do we know about any arrests or arrest warrants which would come out of Mexico?
Right, and I've talked to the FBI, U.S. Marshals, as well as the State Attorney General's office in Mexico. All tell me they do not have any information about an arrest being made. However, it is confirmed that an arrest warrant has been issued by the State Attorney General in Baja California Sur, where Cabo is. But like that report said, they have not identified the person by name. They have just said this is for the direct attacker in this instance.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. A prosecutor for Baja California Sur states that a friend of Robinson's, quote, who is the direct aggressor, which I take to mean the woman beating her in the head in the video, is being sought by international authorities on charges of femicide. Charges of femicide. Now, femicide, to my understanding, in Mexico is the way they describe the murder of a female. What is that, Joe Bruno?
Certainly. Femicide is basically when a female is murdered. They look at whether she was killed for reasons due to her gender or perhaps it was due to domestic violence.
Exactly.
Oftentimes when a woman is killed in Mexico, the case starts as femicide, and once they investigate, if they determine those aren't the factors, then it gets recategorized to a homicide. So it's essentially a type of homicide investigation by local authorities.
Take a listen to our cut 46 from Newsy.
Mexican prosecutors have said the suspect is an American and the charges are femicide. Mexican prosecutors said in a statement, Robinson's death was the result of a, quote, direct attack, not an accident. Mexican law enforcement has requested the suspect be extradited back across the border so she can face charges. That would require U.S. authorities to hand over an American citizen to a foreign government.
She is going to have to be extradited to Mexico. I do see that happening.
Deborah Blum is a criminal defense attorney in New York. Blum says while she expects the extradition to happen, it could be a process to get it done.
They're going to have their day in court where the person that's accused of this gets to say, I don't agree to extradition, and then they get to have a judicial hearing in front of the judge.
The FBI has also opened an investigation into Robinson's death.
Thank God in heaven the FBI is on it. Okay, everything you just heard by that lawyer is, it's a technical legal term. It's Latin. It's called BS. You might be familiar with that because Irv Brandt joining me from the U.S. Marshal Service, isn't it true? Extradition is not the killer's, quote, day in court. That's when you have a jury to determine if you're guilty or innocent. And extradition is real easy. Let's just pretend Jackie Howard over there is a killer, and I find her holed up under her mama's bed in Tennessee. I don't have a court hearing about guilt or innocence. I drag her to a Tennessee court, and in my other hand, I have an extradition. It's one piece of paper signed by the governor of Georgia saying Jackie is wanted for murder. All I have to do, Irv Brandt, is drag her from under her mom's bed to a courtroom in Tennessee and say, Judge, here's the governor's extradition order. This is Jackie Howard. And then the governor asks her, the judge asks her one question, are you Jackie Howard? If she says yes, she's gone on the next jail bus to Georgia. If she says no, then I get to do a fingerprint kit on her right there in court and show it to the judge. Then we put her on a jail bus to Georgia. It's not a trial. It's not really even a fact-finding process. It's just, are you Jackie? That's all it is. Agree, disagree, Irv Brandt?
No, I agree. The process, as you just laid out for state to state, is actually a good comparison to how it works internationally.
Why do you sound so calm? Why can you sound so calm? Or are you just like exhausted from all the murder, extraditions, and manhunts that you've been on all around the world?
Yes.
I mean, this girl got beaten dead, dragged out of bed, and hit in the head till she's internally decapitated.
Yes, Nancy. I served as the chief inspector at the Office of International Affairs for the DOJ.
Okay, in that case, let me formally apologize for anything that I just said, because you clearly know a lot more than me. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll quickly run you through it. During my time at DOJ, at OIA, I supervised hundreds of these type of cases, just like you said. And when the warrant is issued and the suspect is identified, and a foreign government sends the request to OIA attorneys, their assistant United States attorneys, assign the case to the district where the suspect is in. In this case, it would be Charlotte, North Carolina. Then the AUSA there evaluates the evidence, the probable cause, which in this case seems fairly cut and dry. They have a video. Then they prepare it for a judge who evaluates if there's probable cause, may issue an extradition warrant. Then that person is taken into custody. And just like you said, there's no day in court. They're not trying the case in Charlotte. They're going to try the case in Mexico. The only thing they're going to determine at that time, the first thing is that the person that the Mexican authorities want? It's basically an identity hearing. Then they'll determine if that person's going to be released pending the extradition process before they're returned to Mexico. They're not going to have a trial in Charlotte on a murder case. That's going to take place in Mexico.
Can I just answer that question really fast? HELLNO, once they get them in court, they're not going to be released pending
extradition. Highly unlikely.
They are getting on a bus to take them to a plane, to have them handcuffed on the plane and taken to Mexico. Quilla Long is joining me. This is Shanquella's sister. What are police telling your mom?
As of right now, nothing. The FBI, when she's in contact with them, it just pretty much they tell her they can't give her any information and to just be patient.
Guys, I want you to take a listen to our cut 40, our friend Nikki Hauser.
We came to ensure that there is enough people putting pressure on the entire system to do what is necessary to get justice for this young woman.
Among the mourners this weekend, activist Tamika Mallory, who spoke during the service and promised to get answers in Shanquella's case.
Losing a loved one in the heinous way in which has happened to Shanquella, there probably will never be peace for them, but there cannot just be an unopened situation. It has to be closed with truth, and it has to be that there is accountability for those who are responsible for her death.
Joe Bruno joining me from WSOC TV. Joe, trust me, I don't want to kill the messenger. That would be you. But explain to me why Mrs. Robinson, this is Shanquella's mother, has to have vigils and she has to have activists and protests to put her daughter's killers on trial? I don't understand that. I know you said you had to go looking for them, and you're the investigative reporter. They've deactivated their social media, they've changed their cell phones, and they're hiding out from their apartments. Okay, I have faced that maybe 1,000 times prosecuting a case. Of course they leave, because they know they're in trouble. But that should not stop local police from finding them. What are you learning, Joe? Just give me some good news. Give me any news.
One of my door knocks to an address associated with the person believed to have attacked Shanquella in that video. While no one answered the door, I noticed a business card taped to the door for the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office investigator. Forsyth County would be the county that issues a warrant, because that's the county that she resides in. But that tells me, at least, that there are local authorities actively attempting to get in contact with the people that were on this trip.
You mean arrest their sorry rear ends? I know you nicely said get in contact. Okay, Joe Bruno, that is giving me a little bit of good news. Quilla Long, did you hear that? This guy, Joe Bruno, WSOC TV, is out tracking, trying to find the people involved with your sister's homicide. And he could tell that at least in one instance, the cops had already been there. Local cops. That's what we need. Local cops finding them, getting them to court, because there are arrest warrants. We just need them extradited. What about that, Quilla?
That's a start. I mean, because before Joe Bruno's information, I really didn't think they was doing anything, looking for anybody. I can't believe that it's taking this long.
And Dr. Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst to the stars, joining us out of Beverly Hills. You can find her at drbethanymarshall.com, unless you want to watch her on Netflix on Bling Empire. Dr. Bethany, that's a sad how do you do that the dead girl's sister and mother have to find out from WSOC Joe Bruno, no offense to you, Bruno, that the cops are trying to find these women. I mean, and the one guy. Why do they have to hear it here on Crime Stories?
You know, Nancy, obviously I've never worked for the DOJ, but when I heard there is a business card tacked to one of the perp's doors, it seems just so paltry and so small, because you know these perpetrators, just like they videotaped everything, you know there's a web expanding outwards to their friends, their family, frantic calls, people they're trying to get in touch with to kind of cover up their tracks. So while I've never tracked somebody down, except for my own husband maybe, but I've never tried to look for somebody, it seems like the tracks should be pretty clear. And, you know, when you've been a victim of a crime, the worst thing is ambiguity and the unknown. In the face of the unknown, I've said this so many times, we read our worst possible fears. Give the family something, give them a little drop of hope, a little tidbit, something that they can hold on to.
Well, you know, another thing too, Irv Brandt joining me, Senior Inspector at U.S. Marshal Service International Investigations Branch, was Chief Inspector at DOJ, Department of Justice, International Affairs. It goes on and on. He was also at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica. This happened in Mexico near Cabo. Irv, there is a trail a mile wide. And I'll tell you, number one thing to do, get their credit cards, get their subpoena, easy, show up, don't wait for them to mail them. Find out where they're charging and where those bills are going, where they hang out. I mean, do they charge every single day at the soup shop on the corner? Then go there and sit there and wait and get them. I guarantee you, finding their new cell numbers, finding where they're spending money, what ATM do they go to get their cash. That's how you're going to find them, Irv.
That's correct, Nancy, and I'm sure once the warrants are issued, the federal warrants are issued, the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, the local authorities will do exactly what you're talking about.
They're issued, Irv. They're issued.
I'm not talking about the arrest warrant out of Mexico. You can't arrest someone on a foreign arrest warrant. They have to be arrested once the U.S. District Court issues the extradition warrant. And to my knowledge, those haven't been issued yet.
You know, another thing I would do pronto, I would go to mommy and grandma and auntie, and I would put some pressure on them and let them know there is no mommy-daughter privilege. Oh, no. And if they are hiding these women and this friend, this male friend, if they know where they are, if they are harboring a fugitive, I would put them under the jail right along with the defendants because they are obstructing justice. Quill along. What about this guy, this friend guy? Who is he? Don't y'all know where he lives?
Yes, but he's no longer in that house.
I bet he's not.
They have to be with a relative, staying with a relative. I don't even think his mama is even going to work. Last thing I heard, that I don't even believe she works there any longer.
Really?
Now, that's crazy that Khalil Cook's mom even quit her job, it sounds like, maybe, and is in hiding as well. That's definitely not going to help the situation.
So is everybody clearing out, Quill? I mean, help me. Tell me what's happening. What do you know? You know these other women went to college with her, and I would say, you know, they have college degrees, so they're not complete idiots. They did video a homicide, so they may be back in the idiot category.
They are.
But you know who the guy is. Who is the guy? What is his name?
Khalil Cook.
Say what?
Khalil Cook.
That's right, Khalil Cook.
Khalil Cook.
And he is no longer at his house. Is his mother still at his house?
Neither one of them are there. They're both gone.
Oh, so he's snugged up with mommy. Okay, Irv Brandt, what do we do now?
Track them all.
Track them both. Yeah, you're right.
And everyone associated with them, Nancy. They're not going to be able to get away once those U.S. warrants are issued. They're going to be taken into custody fairly quickly. I'm sure they're tracking them now in anticipation of the warrants. And then once they have the warrants, those people, you know, however many warrants are issued, those people will be taken into custody. Then they will be extradited back to Mexico. They don't have a political leg to stand on. We extradite people back and forth between the U.S. and Mexico on a daily basis. It's going to happen.
Dr. Tim Gallagher, a medical examiner for the state of Florida. You can find him at pathcaremed.com. You and I have both reviewed the video that these idiots shot while SHANQUELLA is being killed. I'm just going to go out on a limb because according to the autopsy report, she died within 15 minutes of the blow to the head. What? And I try not to do it, Dr. Gallagher, but I keep putting my little girl, I keep thinking, what if I was having to look at this video and it was my girl or my son? And I can't even imagine what Miss Robinson is going through. Could you detail for people that have not seen the video, and Fox Nation, I hope you're running it, what this girl, SHANQUELLA, went through with her friends?
Yeah, certainly the trauma is, it's just, well, number one, it's disgusting. The entire episode, the entire situation is just absolutely disgusting. You know, after she got attacked, she felt every blow to her body. And when she got the fatal blow to the head, you can feel that within your body. You can feel your bones breaking. You can feel the paralysis come over you. You are unable to defend yourself. You have no connection to your arms and your legs any further. So you cannot move, you cannot walk, you are 100% totally helpless. You know, but still you are conscious. You are still conscious for part of that time, and you can still see the people around you. You are still very aware of the violent situation around you. You can still hear the voices of the people, who are attacking you.
But she wouldn't be able to move, right? Because her spine had been severed?
Right. She would be 100% paralyzed, and she would not be able to move her arms, her legs. She would not even be able to speak. But she still would be able to hear, and she still would be able to see. And that's the horror of the entire situation. You'd still be able to understand what you're hearing. You'll still be able to see the violence around you, even though your spinal cord was severed, yes.
A few moments ago, Jackie waved a note at me, which I thought in the heat of that moment was irrelevant. But now I'm rethinking it, and I think it's entirely significant. She held up that Shanquella was not found in the bedroom where we see her getting beaten, as her friend guy. Is that who's videoing it, Quilla? It's the guy videoing it?
That's one of them.
Oh.
That's not the actual friend that we know. He's in the room, though, because once the dude that is videoing it, when he panned the phone a little, you can see him on the left. Khalil is standing on the left.
Again, they're on video. Hello, local police. So the fact that Jackie pointed out to me, her body is found in the living room, which Joe Bruno, WSOC TV, that leads me to think that, once she hit the floor, she couldn't move anymore. They severed her spine, it looks like in the video. Did they drag her into the living room to make it appear as if she had been in there? Not that they woke her up and then started attacking her, Joe, because Jackie's telling me that she's found on the living room floor. And that's from the autopsy report, right?
It's listed there.
Yeah, it is. She's right. What does that say to you, Joe Bruno?
Oh, and is she found with her clothes on or off?
Off, still off, Joe Bruno.
Yeah, the medical examiner's report is clear as day. Found in her living room, died within 15 minutes of her injuries. I don't have any information on whether she was clothed or whether her body was moved. I do know that, and Quilla can also talk about this, that she had bumps on her face, her lips were cut, she clearly was showing signs of severe injury when she died.
Severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. That's what it says on the autopsy report. That's what Dr. Gallagher is describing. It also says person found unconscious on her living room floor, and we know her to be naked at the time of the attack. Her mom told me that Shanquella sleeps without her clothes on, as many people do, and it looked like it was by the bed and the covers were thrown back. Remember the video, Jackie? And it looked like she had just gotten up and they immediately started beating her. So how does she get in the living room? Dr. Bethany, I don't know if she was clothed or not at the time the doctors got there, but since she died pretty quickly, I doubt it. Okay, Joe Bruno, I'm just stymied because I'm not sure what, if anything, is happening to bring this mother justice for her daughter. I don't know if you have children, but all I can think about is my children, one of them going away on a girl's getaway, and then suddenly I get a call, she's dead.
It's incredibly frustrating to not be able to provide a lot of information or even have an inkling of what's going on. I hold on to the fact that I did find that business card taped to the door associated with one of the people that went on this trip. And also just this case has captivated Charlotte and really the world. Millions of people are watching this. Hundreds of people showed up to a vigil for Shanquella over the weekend. Black social media users in particular are demanding justice and keeping this story alive.
And we are trying to do just that. Another vigil over the weekend where Shanquella's mother is just twisted in half with pain. Joe Bruno, who is responsible for the arrest? Charlotte PD? Irv Brandt, jump in. The FBI? Who should be arresting these people that were involved in her death?
Oh, Nancy, any law enforcement, once the extradition warrant is issued, any law enforcement agency can execute the warrant. It could be the local PD, it could be the FBI, it could be the U.S. Marshal Service, and more than likely will go to a task force made up of everyone that I just said to locate the fugitive and take them into custody.
If you have information about these so-called friends that stood by and watched, or the one that beat her till she's dead, 888-407-4747.
So that number she gave is the crisis management number for the U.S. Embassy. So if you guys have any information in regards to this case, please contact your local authorities or North Carolina authorities or the FBI, the U.S. Marshals. We just want to do what we can to bring justice to Shanquella Robinson. Some of the things, even though, like I've said before, that we already heard and we've heard over and over, the fact that she could feel all of that, and that this forensic pathologist whom Nancy had on the panel tonight confirmed that even as her head is severed, she's paralyzed. She can hear everything, but she can't move her arms or legs, her head, or anything. And as far as we know, even that short video we saw with Dejanay Jackson, that could have been the moment that everything changed right then and there. So it's just sad. It's very unfortunate. It almost makes it seem like telling people you can go to another country and commit a crime as a U.S. citizen, but if you make it out of the country, then you can get away with it. It shouldn't be that way. There should be some kind of law in place. If two American citizens commit a crime, one's the victim and one's the person who committed the crime, but they were out of the country, that they should be able to be charged inside of the United States because they're both American citizens. Let me know your thoughts and comments on that, and if you feel the same way. I definitely feel like if everybody was an American citizen, they should be able to be charged over here, because that just doesn't make sense that you can go out of your country, commit a crime on someone from the same country, and come back and nothing happens. So hopefully this will open up some new changes possibly to be made with our laws in the United States, because this is crazy. And we just pray for the family continually that they get the justice that they need. It was so hard to hear that Miss Salamandra is so weakened by all of this that she can no longer speak. You know, I realized when she was at the rally, she didn't really talk or say anything, but Shanquella's dad and the sister. So, you know, I know this has to be trying and hard, knowing that they're just out there, you know, and we know Elise is still going to work because the news in High Point, North Carolina, were able to find her. So let's just continue to keep Shanquella's name alive. Keep continuing to say justice for Shanquella Robinson. I want to thank you again for watching. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.